types of different organizations and or just residents. And together we met and reviewed all the maps that were part of a very big packet, and some of the maps you've seen here today, as well as other data gathered about our community. And then we generated some park ideas, basically just to start the discussion tonight, and those park ideas are on the back wall already. Some of you have jumped the gun a little and started putting dots, but now is the chance for you to actually have your chance to add project ideas. So we do have some microphones set up. If you can, in an orderly manner, start queuing towards those if you have a park project that you would like to introduce. All ideas tonight will be listed and can be voted on. And then just kind of taking you through some ground rules. Well, actually, I think we can probably skip this one because we've talked about it. Maybe we've got to go back one. Okay, go back one. I'm missing a slide, but yeah, maybe the ground rules missed it. But essentially, actually, I think we're not ready for you to queue up. I apologize. It's a little getting out of sync here. So we're going to take you through the projects that we as a coordinating and committee had proposed, the ones that are on the back wall, just to give you a highlight of what those are. Once these projects have made it already on the back wall, they aren't something that you need to tell us again. So if you see something here that you like and it was a park project that you had an idea for, it's okay because it's on the wall. What we're trying to get at the end of this presentation is the park projects that didn't make the list so that we can then add those, okay? So the first one was, as we talked about, kind of in that north area of Roland Heights where there is a high need for a park. So we have put that park as a placeholder. There is not a parcel of land specifically identified at this point because it's pretty highly built out already, but over time that could change, and so therefore we are at least identifying to the county that that area of Roland Heights is in dire need of a park. Next slide. The next location that is also in a similar situation is the eastern north portion of the community, where again they have an open space component, which is the Royal Vista Golf Course, but it serves as open space, but it is not servicing as a park or to maybe anybody that doesn't go to golf. This particular project was identified as a medium need area, as well as a potential project only in the case that if Royal Vista Golf Course were to close in the future. There has been some discussions about some development in that region. We know that there is also, people that would like to see it remain as a golf course. This really is just a placeholder, say, if none of those things happen, that we would stand behind the community plan, which has this as open space today, and ask that it be a park. So that's what you would be voting on, is really just a future use that may happen or may not happen. And then this is kind of Royal Vista today, so if you've never played on the tee, that's one of the views that you would have. It's actually almost park-like, so it seems like an opportunity. The next one was the senior center, so if you go back and remember that was one of the categories that we had none of, so we decided that we would add that as one of the proposed park projects for you to vote on tonight. Also a new dog park at Shabarm Regional. The regional component of this is important because they also will have a priority of projects that they will be putting forth just for the regional parks, and if this scores high enough, it may be able to go over to that list, and we can bring another one up. So it's all part of the process that will happen tonight, but that was one of the ones that was also missing in our community profile, and so we put it in. A gymnasium at Alvarado Intermediate School. We saw this as a potential joint use facility between parks and also Roland Unified School District. Obviously there would need to be discussions amongst those two parties to make that happen, but it also is a need that this community can realize. And then we looked at a couple of our community buildings. We're aware that during the summer when school is out, the programming that is in the community centers during the day often gets pushed out to the outside where it's very, very hot, and then the children's programming happens on the inside. So what we're proposing here is that these community buildings become larger to allow for both programming that happens all the time, and then those special programmings for the kids when they're out of school can also happen at the same time in the building, floor is air conditioned, so you don't have people having to go outside and do exercises or Tai Chi or any of that in 100-degree weather. So we thought that was important. And then the same for this community center up here. The outside looks wonderful, but on the inside it could really use some updating and enlarging. And then back in that replace again, the ball fields at both Roland Heights and Carolyn Rosas could use some revitalization. We know that sports are important to our community, so we felt that those were important as well to consider. And then we also did not have a skate park on our list of amenities that are in our community. There is obviously a group of advocates for this as well that probably are underserved in our region, and so we felt that it was a good idea to offer this as an opportunity so young people can go out and have a fun time with their friends in a clean, healthy way. And then proposed fitness zones and walking trails at all of our parks. So some of our parks do have fitness zones, some do not. These are the exercise equipment. So we would be looking to propose to have those placed in all our parks. A regional outdoor amphitheater. This one is actually located in East Los Angeles. So it is a county park. It could serve in either location of our regional parks, but it's just an idea. It doesn't need to be on water or anything. It was the only photo I could come up with real quickly when I was putting this together, so it tells the tale. And then a proposed park project for additional soccer fields. So our only soccer fields in our community are at Chaparral Park. And there is a great need for soccer fields elsewhere in our community, so we felt that having additional soccer fields was also important. And then one of the comments that had come up in our Facebook page was a children's playground or the playground equipment to your right. The playground that's in the small little image there is actually located at a private school in the West LA district. But it doesn't mean that we can't have something similar here, as well as a nature playground where children are just allowed to be kids and they can climb on rocks and they can climb on logs and they can dust away sand and find dinosaur bones and all that kind of stuff. So something that's not very programmed, it just allows them to be kids in a safe manner. And then just finally some other additional ideas that had come up, but they don't have sheets right now. So if any of these that either hasn't been talked about or you would like to see, please go ahead and call those out. But these came from a park survey and Facebook input. Multi-sports fields, much like the soccer fields, this would be for multiple types of athletics. An indoor aquatic center. The dog parks we already had on our list. There was a request for basketball courts at Chaparral Park, so if that's of interest to anybody, please call that one out. The new nature playground, we did have that on our list, so that's already accounted for in the soccer field. So these are just some other ideas that have been brought up. We can go to the next slide. So this is your time to actually get up and go to the microphones. So if your idea for a park project has not been identified or was on that last slide and not identified, please come up to one of the microphones and share your idea. To allow time for everybody to have a chance to speak, please share one or two items at a time. And then if the line gets low again and your idea still hasn't come on back up and give us that idea as well. And again, there's no need to ask for an idea that has already been presented. And the ones that have basically been presented are the ones that had the images related to them that we just went through. And then at the very end, you will be able to vote on all those projects tonight. And we'll go ahead and we'll tally those votes, and at the end, you'll know where we are in at least the standing. Okay, so does anybody have park ideas that they would like to share with us, please? I think there's a live mic there. He's one of our guys, so. Is it working? No. Hey.
Well, that's okay.
I agree.
My name is Dina Flores, and I'm the regional commissioner for Hawaii Social Cultural Heights. We represent the community we've established for over 30 years. In looking at all these are great ideas, and I'm really glad to see more soccer fields because we really could use them. Over 400, well, normally we have about 600 players that participate in our program.
we could use lighted fields, more lighted fields, because once daylight savings time hits, you have at least at Roland Heights Park, you have like almost 400 players trying to accommodate in that space right there. And we're only allocated 3 days, which I understand there's other youth sports, and I'm all for youth sports, but lighted fields would be really great if we could get some more lighted fields for the players, because that's also safety for them.
When you go back to the soccer field section, you'll notice that it says lights as well. But I know that you were also, I think, an advocate for the Gale Azusa location as well. So we'll look into that as a community. But it's outside the city, so we can't.
Yeah, the lot that's been quite empty for several years, right there on Gale and Azusa. Level out that, and it's away from residents, so it doesn't really bother as far as lighting. You can put multiple sport fields there.
My name is Romalis Taylor. I'm a resident of Roland Heights. I think it's very important to talk about the benefit of what we do with regards to soccer and for children and families in our community. We bring people from all over LA County as well as from other counties into our area. And we do tournaments, we do regional tournaments and things of that nature under AYSO. And that brings resources and business to our community. And we do this about 3 or 4 times a year. It gets great for the families, it's great for the children. Everyone enjoys themselves. I'm sure that the other activities do it the same way as well. But we're very active, we're very involved in the community. And I want to put my support to provide more fields for them. And I think I don't want to just speak for the children, but the adults are hunting very desperately for fields all over the place so the adults can have exercise as well. And so lights would help them as well. And I'm sure we can work that out, but we do need more fields in order to accommodate the demand for this. Okay?
I want to promote dog parks, and this is a suggestion for the county. We can take dog park to another level, way beyond the one in Diamond Bar. I'll offer my services for security, wireless, and cameras free. We provide the equipment, I'll do the design and the installation. Go dog parks.
Yes, I'd like to see the aquatic center, the indoor pool. I think everybody would use that, be used all year round.
Just so you know, as you're coming up here, if you're presenting, additional ideas that haven't been reflected, we're recording them over here, and then after we finish getting your feedback, we'll provide, we'll write them up on the same sheets that you see taped up in the back. Tape those up so you can vote on all of the projects.
My name is Peter. I don't know if it's feasible to construct a small inside the ship.
Construct a small lake.
Not like the creek inside the ship.
You want me to respond, Mika?
Construct a small lake.
Oh, you'd like to construct a small lake
Yes, yes.
along the creek, going in the creek. I see. That would be a good project idea.
Yeah, the only thing I would want to point out is that while through this process you're welcome to suggest ideas for our regional parks, they should really serve a local need versus kind of the amenities that are more typical for a regional park and serve the larger regional community. So So, just not sure.
Can we make another list so they're not forgotten,
Yes.
right? And you're gonna get those, and then we're gonna put that on another
Correct.
report of some
So,
sort? Okay.
aside from what we're doing here today, within our department, the managers of each regional park facility are also developing a list of proposed improvements for those facilities. So if you have suggestions that don't really meet the local need for projects that we would vote on here, we will certainly pass that information on to the respective park managers.
That's great. Is someone taking down that list? That be you? Awesome.
Hi, I'm Karen Gerloff, and I live along the Royal Vista Golf Course, but I'm not a golfer, never golfed in my life, but lived there 45 years. But like many of my neighbors, I'm a person who walks my dog and walks at night. And it's, you know, I've seen studies, it's healthier to walk when there are trees around in a natural environment instead of walking along our streets. And unfortunately, along our streets, most of our street trees have been mowed down by cars and replaced with concrete. And so if we would lose that golf course, we're going to lose a lot of our trees. And so I would ask that we consider adding more trees in our parks that exist now. And if by chance we would sometime purchase that nice zoned open space land at Royal Vista Golf Course, add a lot more trees. It's good for our environment, it's good for our people. Thank you.
So just, the trees are going on that list, right? Because that really isn't a park project, but the suggestion she made about the Royal Vista Golf Course is already listed back there, correct?
Just add more trees every place.
Okay?
I have suggested to me multi-use fields. We've talked about soccer fields, we've talked about baseball fields. It would be nice to have some that were interchangeable that could be used for many things. Also a pool, either an indoor aquatic center or something that the kids can enjoy in it.
I am Roseanne. I live here in Roland Heights. And I know that the drought has prompted a lot of agencies across the state to consider, you know, how to catch water. I've heard that some schools and large parks that are being built are building catchment systems underneath to catch water. So my question is, what kind of plan is in place to kind of help us be sustainable when we build these facilities, as well as maybe including solar panels, that sort of thing?
So the county is working, we actually have the Department of Public Works also helping us with many of our projects more recently, and all of the things you are talking about, they are talking about as well. I am not an architect or a person who works directly with them, so I don't know exactly what the plans are for each of our projects. We did just recently build and construct a LEED building, right? So we are in, LEED is the, what does LEED stand for? Do you know? It's an acronym.
Leader in environmental education and design, I believe.
That sounds about right. And what that does is that shows that we met different standards that are set by the state to be environmentally sound, all the things that you're talking about as well. If we were able to do that with our building, then we were able to be certified. So I can share with you the county is definitely moving in those directions. And I think what would be really important is to make sure those remarks get on that other board. So it's always part of our thinking when we're building something.
And if you're really interested in more information, I just can't speak specifically to our efforts, but as part of the Planning and Development Agency, which I'm a part of, our development division does have a specific section devoted to you know, environmental efficiencies. So you can certainly look for that and get more information. I would like to provide you with my card.
I just want to mention the LEED thing because I'm involved with it at a state level. as a county, yeah, moving forward with all new projects, you have to be a certain level of lead. So that issue is going to be taken care of.
Hello everyone, my name is Adam Smith. I've been a resident of Rowland Heights for about 5 years now, and what I'm talking about is a totally new after-school athletic program for children and teens. We do fitness, a little bit of boxing activities, and some children's yoga. So I also teach on nutrition and healthy eating habits. I just finished up my paperwork with the IRS today. I'm an official 501c3, so I would like to work with all the local county parks in all of Los Angeles, get this year going, 2016. So anyone with children, it's definitely something positive for them to help with their school, with their learning, and with their physical health, which is true wealth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's more of a programming idea, so that'll be something we can catch up with you later, right? If you want to leave your information with us, right? So tonight, again, our focus is about new park amenities and new ideas that you'd like to present, to have us think about for the future of your community. Okay? I think there's someone over there first.
Hello, my name is Mario Zepeda. I've been in the community for about 20 years. I noticed that you had a senior center, a basketball facility, and a parks rec center. But I wanted to find out about a bigger project, kind of like the Walnut Teen Center, if that's something that you guys are thinking about, combining those, the senior center, the basketball, where you can have indoor basketball facility, more like a teen center, so that the seniors could have their area. The basketball courts could be there, and it could be after school care also for the teens that are going after school, so more like a teen center.
It sounds like you're describing like a multi-generational center. Okay. Good. You can add that to the list.
Hello, my name is Jack Moore. Lived in Rowland Heights, probably around 40 years or so. One of the things that I haven't heard in here tonight about the parks and everything that I'm really interested in is what is the traffic impact going to be? People don't understand right now that in just about 3 months from now, or maybe 4 months, we're going to have another 300 cars coming down right from the golf course over here, from the new building track that they're going to build up on part of the golf course, right by the golf course, that's going to come down to Walnut Leaf, right down our street onto Kalima. Has there been any traffic studies as to what these parks are going to have an impact on us and where and why? Because I think that's very important, because we're locking ourselves out from the other communities around us because of the traffic. I spoke about this before, that on the holidays, when you try to go down here to the mall, you have to sit in this line from Rowland Heights down to from Walnut, where Walnut Dynamar starts, all the way down to the corner where the mall is. Most of us, well not most of us, but I go to Brea because it's a lot quicker for me. I go down to Brea and be back before I can get down to Kalima down here on a Sunday to go shopping. So I think it's very important before we get all into this park thing and everything, and I'm all for it. I'm not against it, but I'm against the fact that we got to find out what our traffic impact is going to be, and what good is this park going to be if we have to sit in our car for an hour to get there. So that's my main concern, is the traffic. And I think if you all look around and you all drive down these streets down here, you got to say that what I'm telling you is the gospel. It's not a lie, it's the truth. That's our traffic situation here. And the way that we're going right now with all the housing projects that they're putting in around and on our property over here, we're not going to have room to go anywhere. So please consider that before we take any votes on what's going on and have a traffic impact as to where we decide this park is going to be, so we'll know what kind of a situation we're going to go in. Thank you, and please think about that very much, because it's going to impact everybody here and those that aren't here. Thank you very kindly, and have a great day.
Thank you. I think those are definitely some important considerations. mind that this is still at the visioning stage, and, as Mika mentioned, the dreaming stage. It's, by no means a full vetting and evaluation of these projects. So right now, it's just more based on, prioritizing the types of projects you would like to see, and then at a future time, if they do move forward and funding is available, then of course a more lengthy evaluation of any impacts would be provided, and for some of the bigger projects, a public process would go along with that as well.
Can we make sure it's on the list, though, that traffic study must be included before moving forward? I think that would be very valuable to put on our list. Right? So it's
Sure will be, because Jack's my lieutenant and I'm the captain of Royal Vista Neighborhood Watch. The issue he's talking about, and I'm not putting Steve Tide on the spot here, but he's talking about the 99 homes that is on the borderline between Diamond Bar and Roland Heights, which Jack, myself, and about 1,000 others fought that in 2005, and they started construction, so the traffic's going to start. So that's what he's worrying about.
I understand. Let's make sure we put traffic study on there, though, before we do any park development. I think that's important. Go ahead, come on up. She had a programming question about table tennis. Okay, so I'm going to have her talk to Letty.
My name is Fran Downing, and I'm going to be very short, very sweet. I think that we need a lot of native plants, California native plants, that will help us once they're established. You don't have to worry about watering them or drip system or whatever. Plus, I would like to vote for those for the butterflies, hummingbirds, and birds, primarily.
Love that idea. That's super important for that list over there, right? Because it's not really a project. So may I just interject something right now, since we've kind of gotten over the questions? So when I was looking at those project ideas in the back, there's some fantastic ones. But I do have a question for the community here. There is one on there that says gymnasium, but it also says joint use. Okay? So I just want to clarify, it looks as though the gymnasium is super important. But is it super important to you guys that it's joint use with the school? Because if there was ever an opportunity to build a gymnasium on one of the parks, would you support that? And I just want to be super clear, because that is very specific to a site. So I kind of wanted to say, maybe would it be okay with you guys if we had no site, another one on there that said gymnasium without a site? Right? Because just in case someone with a joint use, we don't, I would love to say that I have all power, but I don't have all power over the school, right? And so I don't want to limit us as a community. If the gymnasium is something super important, maybe that should be a project of its own, right? And then if we're able to work out the joint use, I mean, we love that, because that would be great to utilize the gymnasium. But that may or may not be possible, because we would need the school to be a partner. Okay, so I'm thinking, right, gymnasium project, if that's okay with everybody?
Are there any other proposed projects? Debbie,
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, I was just wanting to make sure that they've had an opportunity to transcribe the projects, project sheets.
Yeah, and then, let's see. We were looking at the one with the outdoor amphitheater for Shabar Park. And I wanted to share that the superintendent of the park was here earlier, who indicated to me that there are 2 amphitheaters there already, and one is relatively new. So we wanted to be super clear again that you wanted an outdoor amphitheater at Shabar Park, and maybe what you meant by that. Or did you just want an outdoor amphitheater in your community, period?